Namaste. Before commencement of the webinar, let us chant the yoga traditional prayer.
संगजत्वं संवदत्वं संवो मनांसि जानताम् देवाभागं यथा पूर्वे सञ्जानाना उपासते सञ्जानाना उपासते सञ्जानाना उपासते.
Yoga Enlightens extends a very warm welcome to all the participants joined for the webinar on Integral Yoga Therapy. The webinar focuses on integral yoga therapy, which includes biomechanics and kinesiology of yogasanas and therapeutic nutrition for prevention of diseases, promotion of health and treatment. Today, we have three eminent personalities as resource persons as speakers. First of all, on behalf of Yoga Enlightens, I welcome Dr. Padmanabhan TV, consultant yoga and integral psychologist. He was initiated to yoga with Mantra Diksha and Karma Sannyasa by his guru Paramahamsa Swami Niranjanananda Saraswati of Bihar School of Yoga, founder of Bihar Yoga Bharati, the world's first yoga university of Paramahamsa Swami Satyananda Yoga tradition, Bihar School of Yoga. He successfully completed a 2-year full-time regular and residential post-program on MA Yoga Psychology from Bihar Yoga Bharati, Munga. Besides postgraduate degrees in psychology, counseling and psychotherapy and PhD in yoga, he had been a university teacher in yoga in Kannur University and Central University of Kerala for the last 24 years. At present, he is a visiting yoga faculty and subject expert for Center for Yoga and Naturopathy, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam. Resource person for UGC Human Resources Development Center, Kannur University. Resource person for State Council Educational Center and Training, Thiruvananthapuram, for preparing yoga handbook for classes 1 to 12 students of LKG, UKG, secondary and higher secondary schools of Kerala State. 5 articles or papers published in international journals, 23 papers presented in UGC supported national seminars, 4 national webinars, 7 workshops, 4 All India Radio Kannur and Trivandrum broadcasts, Radio Kerala Dubai or Qatar broadcast on 30/10/2022 on role of yoga and prevention of breast cancer 12 p.m. and 12 theses or dissertations guided. On behalf of Yoga Enlightens, I welcome Dr. Augustine George, Head of the Department of Physical Education, Government Medical College, Kottayam, Kerala, India. Having an experience in teaching physical education for the last 22 years, he has successfully completed MSc Psychology from Madras University besides his physical education degrees. Published the following 6 books: UGC NET Examination Physical Education 10 years Solved Question Papers 2008 to 2020 Updated Education, Physical Health and Life Skill Education for undergraduate arts and science students of colleges affiliated with MG University, Kerala, Health and Fitness Education for undergraduate arts and science students of colleges affiliated with Kerala University, Kerala, Physical Activity and Health and Wellness, Physical Health and Life Skill Education, Physical and Health Education. He has done 17 research paper publications in national and international journals and 15 awards and honors. On behalf of Yoga Enlightens, I welcome Dr. Anita Moon. She is a clinical nutritionist and diet consultant and former State Nutrition Officer of Health Department, Government of Kerala. She is working as a nutrition expert with the Government of India Food Safety Screening Committee and various government-supported technical training management institutes. She was associated with UNICEF for implementation of nutrition programs in backward districts of Kerala. She has an extensive experience and strong interest in public health nutrition. She has over 200 publications in health magazines and 3 books in nutrition. Author of 3 books on nutrition published by Malayala Manorama, Bhasha Institute and Sujiri Publications. Her books, articles, documentary scripts, radio and television shows, and health columns in health magazines have won her prestigious honors. She is a member of several committees in nutrition policy formulation team of Government of Kerala. Guest faculty in Institute of Management in Government, Indian Institute of Diabetes. She is a very active member of Nutrition Society of India and Indian Dietetic Association. To the people. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.
Thank you, Krishna, for delivering the welcome speech. Now, I invite Dr. Padmanabhan sir to address the gathering.
Okay, thank you very much. So let us, yes. Vidya, it's okay. Hmm? It's okay, Vidya.
Okay, Master.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for introducing the 2 eminent personalities, excluding me, because I myself is in front of you. So the purpose of introducing the eminent personality is nothing, but the classes are handled by very expert and competitive resource persons. It is, very strictly speaking, it is an education program. A program that surrounds the all-round knowledge about yoga. Though the name is Integral Yoga Therapy, it touches each and every aspects of yoga. So after completion of the course, all the participants should have a better understanding about yoga, how to talk about the theory and the principles, as well as how to impart the practical aspects correctly using some scientific scientific principles, biomechanics and kinesiology, etc. So that is why we have introduced 3 eminent personalities, and besides we have one more eminent personality here, and he is none other than Dr. Sandeep Purushothaman, and he is a Ayurvedic physician and is expert in handling the applied yoga, Ayurvedic principles and methods. And besides, our doctor is also a clinical yoga therapist. So altogether, we have a good eminent personalities to handle all the classes. It means that I person not only handling the classes, we are all team, and we hope that the team will definitely would help you to understand the concepts and the methods of yoga. Okay, fine. And well, the program, about the program, okay, about the program. So about the program, you know, it is a 200 hours program. So we have designed to conduct this program on all Saturdays and Sundays from 8 to 9 hours. And we hope that it should be convenient for all the participants. And on the next day, concurrently, we will conduct the practical classes. And the practical classes would help you to imbibe, to understand the concepts and the correct doing of asanas and pranayama. All the day, the next morning, immediately after the theory classes, we will conduct the yoga practical classes. So to talk about the next resource person, and he is Dr. Ernestine George, and he is the head of the department of Government Medical College, Kottayam, and he is very expert in handling the principles and methods of biomechanics and kinesiology. And biomechanics is nothing but the positioning of the body. I will show you some slides to you after this. Positioning of the body, because the classical text says only mentions, only gives some idea about us. For example, Bhujangasana. And Bhujangasana, it says that by pressing the hands or keeping the palms on the floor, yes, floor, you have to raise your body, upper body, above the navel like a hooded cobra. So this explanation is not sufficient. So biomechanics will teach you how to position the body and where you have to keep the hands and what would be the distance, the body, distance between the two hands, and whether it is a pro-gravitational asana or an anti-gravitational asana, like that. Okay. And he is a very competent person to talk about it, the biomechanics and kinesiology. And I say, as our in the welcome address, we already talked about Dr. Arida Mohan. He is an eminent in nutrition, no doubt at all. So we have invited her in Mahatma Gandhi College, and she is very competent to teach you because nutrition is the day of the hour. You know that the food is the main, the food is the first life process, the nutrition. Then comes the respiration. So these are all life processes. Among the life process, the nutrition is the first one. If the nutrition is right, everything is right. So, okay, fine. So these are the four eminent personalities. And besides, we have one more eminent personality, Dr. Shankar Ram sir. And he's an allopathic doctor and experienced in sports medicine and nutrition. So he also consented to be with us to deliver some classes for you. So this is the something about the details of the faculties or the classes going to be handled here. So I will show you 1, 2, 3 slides. So you will get an idea what is the purpose of this therapy. Okay, fine. So I hope all can see the slide, no?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this already I have talked about it. Yes, sorry, one more eminent personalities. And the teacher is a retired teacher. His name is Dr. Joseph Charles. And he is a trained anthropometric in the trained personality in anthropometric measurements. I will tell you what is anthropometric measurements. Okay. And trained from the foreign universities. So these are all the details of our faculties. Okay. And one more faculty, Dr. Shiju, and he is a very expert psychologist in clinical counseling. So he will be also joining with us and he will teach you the process of counseling, because the process of counseling is, please put your mic. Please. Vidya, please mute their mic.
Yes, Masha.
Okay. So Dr. Shiju, and he'll be teaching you the process in counseling, because counseling is needed when you administer a yoga therapy. So altogether, this yoga therapy encompasses the teachings of very eminent personalities, and you will get a good framework of how the yoga therapy should be administered, so that we'll get the best results. So these methods in yoga therapy, first is the cleansing therapy. Okay. So it is concept of Bahya Sauja and Antar Sauja, internal cleansing and external cleaning. So they are done with the process of Shatkarma, etc. that we will be communicating later on. And diet therapy is the nutrition. Okay, dietics in relationship with rasa, the Shad rasas, Guna, Virya, Vibhaga. Okay, And our Dr. Purushottam sir will talk more about this. And Dr. Anita Mohan, Madam, she also talks about more about the nutrition, modern nutritions. And we will compare all the nutritions, Ayurvedic nutrition, modern nutritions, and nutrition as explained in the yogic text in Gyan and Samhita. Then we'll make an integral nutrition. Everything we are talking about integral. Okay, integral. Because integral is very good. A conventional process of anything that may not give the better results. So when we join everything, then we have a new method of teaching and process. So that is why we have used the word integral. Okay, integral. And the physical therapy, physical therapy, they are administered through application of asanas. And mudras are here, the kaya mudras, the mudras with the body, not the hasta mudras, and bandhas, etc. Okay, then breathing. This one more thing is the breathing therapy, that is through pranayama. And then mental therapy, therapeutics of relaxation and visualization practices. There are many practices, Radhaga, Pranayama, Yama, Nayama, etc. And spiritual therapy, Swadhyaya, Satsanga, the good talks, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, and their effects on spiritual resilience. So these are the methods we use. Then, and this, after that, we'll talk about the psychic physiology of yoga and therapeutic effects. Sharira Traya, the three bodies. This is yoga anatomy. Okay, then we'll talk about the Panchakosha and how it is related with the disorders and diseases of the body. Then we'll talk about the Triguna, not Triguna, and we will teach you the assessment of Triguna. There are two best standardized tools, psychological tools, by which you will be able to assess it. At the same time, the Tridosha also, when Dr. Sandeep Purushottam sir will teach you, he will teach you how to assess the Tridosha of people. Then you can compare both. So when we talk about Triguna, it is psychological, and when we talk about Tridosha, it is physiological. So then we'll talk about the Panchavayus and what they actually do in the body. Okay. Then the 10 principal studies, actually, where are they? And what is the methods for activating these 10 nadis we'll talk about. Then above all, we'll talk about demystification of Kundalini Yoga. A complete picture of chakra meditation. Okay. And demystification here means, so there are many Indian god and goddesses are here. So, okay, those people who wanted to practice with the Indian god and goddess, they can. But here, demystification, we use three techniques: Mandra, Tantra, and Yandra, and the Varna. These are all the four techniques we use, by which this is a very, very deep inner psychic practices, chakra. Okay, I will talk about all the chakras: Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Ajna, Sahasrara, Padma, and how they are related with the Pancha Mahabodhas. And by meditation, what happens? You know what happens when you meditate? And when you meditate anywhere, either inside the body or outside the body, the psychology says that where attention goes, their energy flows. Where attention goes, their energy flows. When energy flows where the place your attention is, then what happens? Something will happen there, the place where you are attending or concentrating. Okay, and that is true. So the chakra, though it is spiritual and very mystic, it has both physiological and physical benefits too. So we'll discuss about a complete picture about this Kundalini Yoga, because anywhere, most of the places, the practice of Kundalini Yoga very much differs and people are mostly confused. So here there will be no confusion. And what are the psychological attributes of the Varnas, the colors? The colors has an imminent effect upon our personalities. Okay, that depends upon person to person. Okay, then the next thing is some this one, Yandras. Yandras are this is this one triangles, circles, etc. Okay, mostly the trigonometric symbols, and they are actually they are called archetypes. Okay, archetypes. In psychology, archetypes are actually, even though we never seen a circle, okay, there is a circle in our archetypes, in our unconscious mind. So the great psychologist Carl Gustav said, when you focus your attention upon this such symbolic archetypes, the color is a symbolic archetype. Okay, this yantra is a symbolic archetype. Then it is the best practice for self-development. We need self-development. It is the psychological interpretation of Kundalini Yoga or Chakra Dhyana. And it is a very good practice. We will teach you a full course of Chakra Dhyana. We will teach you. Okay, fine. Then yoga therapy for disorders of the important human system. Most of the systems, digestive system, respiratory systems, endocrine and nervous systems, reproductive system, etc. All the system, it is not possible to complete within the 200 hours. But lifestyle disease, we definitely will talk. And what would be the nutrition for that each and every diseases, because it is highly expensive program, I think. Because suppose when we talk about a diseases, a respiratory disorder for asthma, then we will talk about the yoga practices. Then we will talk about what Ayurveda says. Then we will talk about what would be the nutrition. Okay, and what would be the calorie intake you have to take. So everything. Okay. Then after that, we will teach you some assessments that I'll show you. Okay. Then mental orders we talk about. Some stress management, how we can manage mental stress and how to assess stress. There are psychological tools that we will teach you how to assess stress, intensity of stress, how much degree of stress a person having. Some generalized anxiety disorder. So what is the tool for that assessment? And what would be the practices, integral practices? Then we talk about depression. Okay, depression is a common word altogether people are using nowadays. Then obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. So we'll talk about what is obsessive compulsive disorder and how to make a counseling and what would be the psychotherapeutic technique and as well as yoga therapeutic techniques. Then a post-traumatic disorder, because these are all some of the most important neurotic. This one, psychosis, we'll talk about in surface level, we'll talk about schizophrenia and paranoia, etc. So how this biomechanics and kinesiology works, and Dr. Agustin George will talk descriptively. So in Gheranda Samhita, and what is the use of applying biomechanics and kinesiology? You have to understand well. So in Gheranda Samhita talks about Bhujangasana. What it says, Angushta Nabi Paryantham. Angushta Nabi Paryantham. Angushta Nabi Paryantham. Nabi means the navel, Paryantham. Atho Bhumo. You have to keep flat on the Bhumo. Cha Vinyased. Vinyased means, yes, deploy. You have to keep the lower part of the body below the navel, flat on the floor. Dharam. Dharam. Karadalabhyam. Karadala means the palms. Okay. Dhruturta Shirsha means you have to raise your head. Fanivahi, like a hooded cobra. But that's all. No explanation. And based upon this, it is not like that somebody has written a book and that is Bhujangasana. No. So based upon this great verses mentioned by Maharshi Gheranda in the Gheranda Samhita text, many traditions, they have given their own methods, where to keep like that, like that, like that. But we have to see, because in some traditions, you know, the method may be different and that method may not be tallying with the other traditions. So most of the people are very much confused about it. So what would be the right method? The biomechanics will teach you the right method. Definitely. And what is biomechanics? The absolute positioning of the body. How to position the body. Okay, the two palms to be, yes. and where that tension comes and what are the muscles involved. That is kinesiology, movement of the muscles. He will talk about it. Dr. Sanjay will talk about it. Okay. And not only the movements of the muscles, and the muscles are stretched. Okay. What happens? Flexibility increases. So in the muscles, the nerves innervations are there. And what are the nerves? And the stretching of the muscles and the nerves, what they actually do in the body, psychologically, physiologically, and physically. And this would be the benefit. And when you learn in this way, and the people will accept you, yes, whatever the yoga therapy you are teaching the people, yes, he or she knows something about it. Okay. And we are also trying to publish a book with all your good participation at the end of this program, and with the ISBN number also. So here the meaning is, let the lower part of the body from the toes up to the navel touch the ground, place the palms on the ground, and where it is to be, it is not mentioned, and raise the head like a serpent. And some people keep just above the shoulder and the back to the shoulder, and the shoulders are very much hunched. No. So the biomechanics will teach you, yes. And this asana is a very great, and same asana, Dr. Agustin George will talk about the same asana today. So what is the purpose of understanding the principles of methods of biomechanics? That is why I have shown this verses mentioned in the classical test. We should not forget the classical test, because classical test is the base of this asana. So each and every yoga teacher and a yoga therapist must have a basic understanding and knowledge about the classical test. Then you go further applying the scientific principles. Okay, you see just how it works. In the very beginning, the child has a C-shaped curve. And gradually what happens? The child comes in the prone position, Bhujangasana comes automatically. Now you see this. These are all the positions. This is the 1 minute. Yes, relaxation posture. And this type of Bhujangasana, most of the people may be doing. And this is the Bhujangasana. And the last one is the Purna Bhujangasana. And there is another variation. You see the forearm must be flat on the floor. And this is therapeutic actually. This is therapeutic. Okay, therapeutic. Forearm must be flat on the floor. And what would be the distance of between the two hands? The shoulder width apart. And okay, and this is spinix. Means even by keeping this forearm flat on the floor, you can teach an old person to stretch the back as far as possible. But this is not possible to them. And this is not possible to them. And this is the difference between the physical activity of an asana and therapeutic activity of asana. I hope you understood. Okay? Yes. Then the anthropometric I already talked about you. So sir will teach you with the help of the goniometer and flexibility. And a simple flexibility is here actually. You can see this. 1 minute. You can see this. Because
Yes,
only minimizing you can see this. I think it is not possible. Yes. This is a simple method. You can use it. So you need an anthropometric measuring tab, not the measuring tab used by the tailor. And what would be the flexibility, upper body flexibility? Okay, when flexibility increases, what happens? When flexibility increases, you will have a wide range of motion. You can do any activity. Okay, you can do any activity. Okay, so goniometer, and that is used for measuring the hip flexibility and the elbow flexibility. So we'll teach you. Okay, so it will be very much interesting. And we will be also teaching some functional fitness test for elderly. This is called geriatrics. So elderly people, suppose elderly people come to you. So what would be their functional fitness test? Functional fitness test means there is a set of functional fitness tests. So if the functional fitness test is okay, then you can teach them yoga. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult. So one of the functional physical test is called functional reaching test. Okay, functional reaching test means you have to stand the client or the patient with the help of a wall by standing there itself. Okay, there itself within anatomical position, keeping the 2 feet shoulder width apart. You have to come forward. You have to come forward without moving the body. How far you can come forward? Okay, if it is less than 5 inches, there is a sharp possibility of falling immediately. This test has many interpretations. You can see this. Then a functional. So like this. She is standing there itself, and where it is reached, the middle this one metacarpal, and this would be the measurement. We will teach you. Okay, then we will have a complete discourse of the Surya Yoga. Okay, the Surya Yoga is a text, tantric text, which talks about the Swara of the prana, in which it said that even when on the 5th day after the menstrual cycle, when the solar Swara, the left Swara of the man and the lunar Swara of the woman is flowing, and when they have the sexual intercourse, the text says they have, the son here means a child, okay, will be conceived it. So those who have this problem, but you have to tease them. Sometimes it may works, sometimes it may works. So it is said by long back by Lord Shiva to his consort Parvati. Okay, anyhow, and after that concurrently there will be a yoga practice so next morning. So this is something about the certification. There will be a certification. Yoga Enlights will give a certificate, and besides Yoga Alliance certification, RYT 200 hours will be issued. And for that, you have to pay a small nominal fee. For more details, you have to consult with Vidya and Sri Vidya. She is doing all these things. And besides Yoga Alliance website registration fee something that you have to see the website, then you will get an RYT certificate. So you'll be eligible to teach yoga either in India or in foreign countries, because some of the countries, USA and the UK, they are asking for the certificate. So this is something about this. Okay, fine. So here I am stopping. Now, sir, Augustine, sir.
Yes, sir. I am here, sir.
Yes. So I cordially invite my colleague, my friend, Dr. Augustine, sir, to talk about the concept of biomechanics and kinesiology. Okay, sir. Please welcome.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. So, most respected Dr. Padmanabhan TV, sir, Dr. Anita Mohan, Dr. Sandeep Purushothaman, sir, and all others. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to present my views about biomechanical aspects of yoga and to be part of this course. I actually want to congratulate Padmanabhan sir for taking up this initiative by not keeping the information and knowledge within himself, but to spread the knowledge to the whole needy people out there. So I hope my audio is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So thank you. So I would like to share my screen, and with the help of that, I will present my session. I will take only 15 minutes. I hope my screen is visible.
No, sir. No,
Is it
sir.
visible now?
No, no.
Is it visible now?
No, sir.
1 minute. Vidya,
Yes, sir. Co-host ആണ്. Co-host ആണ്.
co-host. Sir, you are co-host. Co-host, you can.
Okay. So, but
What happened?
let me check.
Screen, share the screen.
Yeah, I have shared the screen.
You are co-host, sir. You can do.
Yeah, but the screen is not visible, right?
No, no. അത് ഒന്ന് enlarge ചെയ്യും തോന്നുന്നു നിങ്ങളുടെ ഗാലറി സ്പീക്കർ.
Even my screen is not visible.
No, it is not visible, I think. Is it?
No, sir. Visible അല്ല.
Visible. Okay.
Try making him a presenter and check, right?
What about now?
No, sir.
It's not visible.
അതെന്ത് പറ്റിയപ്പോ?
Actually, I am operating from my mobile. I used to operate my mobile only.
Okay, you talk about orally then, sir.
Yeah, I will talk orally about this.
Yes, please come to.
So, yeah. So, this biomechanics. So, what posture is? Posture is the attitude assumed by the body. So, your body. So, we say that what is a good posture? A good posture where the least strain is placed on your ligaments and joints. Okay, that is a good posture. So when you move as a whole body, when you move your body, it should be, the least strain is placed on the joints. That is a good posture. And in yoga, we say that sthiram sukham asanam. That is, in every asana, you should feel the comfort. You should not extend beyond that comfort. So if you're doing bhujangasana, you're doing sarvangasana, whatever asana you are doing, you should feel the comfort. Up to that comfort level only you should do. That's why they say sthiram sukham asanam. So this is how the biomechanics helps you in this. So in basically we have 3 categories of postures in yoga. That is the cultural asanas, and which is done for physical fitness, like bhujangasana or ustrasana. These are all cultural asanas. And then we have relaxing asanas, which is usually done after every cultural asanas to regain the body, the physiological state, to regain the normalcy of the physiological state. And then we have meditative asana for meditation. Okay, so why should we study biomechanics? So that is the question, why we should study biomechanics. Padmanabhan sir has already told you the importance and significance of biomechanics. So see what it is. So biomechanics is the study of the structure, function, and motion of the mechanical aspects of biological systems. So our biological system, there are various forces which is acting on our body. Internal forces are there by the pull and push of our muscles, by our skeletal bones, by our skeletons. So these internal forces and the external forces of the gravity, okay, these are the forces which acts on our body. So it is also the study of these forces, and the mechanical principles which is applied to the study of biological function is called biomechanics. Now you see, if you see your body, we have bones in our body. We have around 206 bones in our body. We have around 640 muscles in our body. Okay, and these muscles are attached to the bones through tendons. We call it as tendons. The structure is tendon. And then we have joints in our body. We have shoulder joint, we have hip joint, we have wrist joint, elbow joint. Okay, so in these joints, what happens? 2 bones or 3 bones are connected to each other through ligaments. So ligaments are there. There are nerves, okay, which connects your muscles to the brain, and that is how you move your body. We call it as neuromuscular coordination. So these all things play equally important role in biomechanics of human body. So we have to understand this, that you have to get the body awareness, and biomechanics will help you to get the body awareness. So that is biomechanics. And knowledge of biomechanics is essential to perform postures correctly. So you say that you do Bhujangasana and you will get rid of this asthmatic problem. But how can it be done effectively? It will be effective only when the posture is correct. So that is the thing which we have to keep attention on, because this is something, if you are doing it every day, if I am doing yoga from the last 22 years, so when I am doing it every day, so see the effect which it is going to bring on me. And if I am doing the asana in the wrong way, just think of, my whole body posture can change. It can deform my body. I can get postural deformities. I can get any illness or any disease condition just because of doing a faulty posture regularly for 22 years. So that is why biomechanics is essential, because it will tell you that how to perform the postures correctly. And the poses that were most commonly identified as causing the injuries, because injuries can happen, that is, in which postures the injuries will happen. It, the most commonly identified postures which cause injuries are hyperflexion and hyperextension of spine. So in Bhujangasana, it is a hyperextension of spine. So when you extend the spine, if it is hyperextension, there can be an injury. And in Paschimottanasana, where you bend your body forward, it is a hyperflexion. So if you go for hyperflexion, there will be injury. If your body is flexible, then it's okay. If it is not okay, and if you are applying a lot of pressure, which goes against the principle of Sthiram Sukham Asanam, then you are going to invite injuries. So that is the significance of biomechanics, that you do the postures comfortably, you reach to a level where there is comfort, and you can do the postures in the correct form. So that is the importance of biomechanics. The importance of the significance of biomechanics lies there. So I will tell with an example of Bhujangasana. If the screen was there, it would have been very helpful for you. But now just imagine Bhujangasana. Sir has also already shown you the picture of Bhujangasana. Just imagine the Bhujangasana. And you know, you need to study the muscles which are involved in Bhujangasana, because then only you become scientific, then only you will understand. Okay, so there are certain muscles which are involved in Bhujangasana. So as sir said, up to the navel part, the lower body part, it touches the floor.
Augustine
And-
sir,
Yes, sir.
he said, come to the screen. You are not visible actually.
Oh, I am not visible. Okay. Just a second, sir.
Okay. Your visibility will get more idea about Bhujangasana, even though Bhujangasana is not coming.
Okay.
If it is possible, okay. Otherwise, then okay, sir. Continue then. Okay. Okay. Continue.
Okay, I will continue like this, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Just a second. Yeah, so I was talking about that how Bhujangasana, with the help of biomechanics, when you do, it help you to attain a stable and a very comfortable posture. So in Bhujangasana, there are certain muscle groups, like you have heard of serratus anterior, triceps brachii, gluteus maximus, hamstrings. So these muscles are involved. So what is this hamstring muscles? Before going to the muscle, let me tell you about the skeletons, the bones which are involved. The spine is involved, the upper limbs, that is your both the legs, so that is involved. So what happens in the spine movement? It is extension, that is, the spine is arched backward, that is extension. So you have to learn the these technical terms. What is flexion? What is extension? Flexion is when you bow down, it's flexion. When you arch back, it's extension. Okay, upper limbs, elbow extension. Elbow extension means when you straighten your elbow, it is elbow extension. When you fold your elbow, it is flexion of elbow. So in Bhujangasana there is elbow extension. And the lower limbs, hip extension, that is you're extending your hip, you are arching your hip. And adduction of the hip is there. That is very important. In many people, those who do yoga, those who do Bhujangasana, their hips are open, but that is wrong way of doing it. That it should be close. Your both legs should be close. And there is a tendency when you arch your body back, your legs get separated. So you have to keep your legs together. That is known as adduction. When your legs are apart, we call it as abduction, AB. And when your legs are closed, it is called adduction, ADDUCTION. Then knee extension is there. Then ankle plantar flexion. Plantar flexion means you have to extend your ankles and you have to touch, your ankle should touch the floor. So that is plantar flexion. So that is how you have to keep your joints. And then muscular contractions, certain muscles, because when the muscles contract, your body moves. So which all muscles you have to contract so that while doing Bhujangasana, your breathing is not affected. That is the importance of the comfort level. It brings the comfort level. So many people, when they do Bhujangasana, they stop breathing, but that is wrong. You should not stop breathing. You should have a very clear breath flow. So you should be able to inhale and exhale comfortably. So when you do with the biomechanical principle, you will be able to inhale and exhale the breath. So that is the beauty of it. That is the crux part of doing the asana. That is, you are breathing, your lungs are open. So here what you do, how you can keep your lungs open. Like here, the spinal extensor muscle, these are the muscles which run parallel to your spinal column on both the sides of your spinal column. So these spinal extensors, they contract. The contraction is concentric contraction. Now, what is concentric contraction? Concentric contraction is where your muscle shortens when you contract. That is concentric contraction. So with the concentric contraction, you arch back. And when you arch back, your spinal muscles are contracting. So that muscles you have to contract. And then there is another muscle group known as serratus posterior superior. This muscle also has to be contracted. Why? To elevate the ribs, to raise your ribs. So when you raise your ribs, you are able to inhale more efficiently. So that is the idea behind it. So when you contract the serratus posterior superior muscle, you are elevating your ribs. And this exactly happens when you inhale, breathe. You are elevating your ribs. The serratus posterior superior muscle is activated. So the same muscle you have to activate. Then the serratus anterior to stabilize scapula on the rib cage. What is scapula? Scapula is behind your shoulders. There are two triangular shaped bones. These are known as scapulas. And to stabilize this scapula on your rib cage, the serratus anterior muscle has to be contracted. Then the rotator cuff muscles are the shoulder muscles, and these muscles are also need to be contracted to stabilize your shoulder joint. Your shoulder joint is stabilized. Then you have to contract the hamstring and adductor magnus. These are another two group of muscles. Hamstring is located at the back of your thigh, and the adductor magnus at the medial side of your thigh. And these muscles have to be contracted so that both the legs are together. That is, they are in the adducted form, and it is internally rotated. Later on, I will show you what is internal rotation, what is external rotation. Because when you do according to these principles, your body, you will be doing asana in the perfect form. And when you do asanas in the perfect form, then only you will gain benefits out of it. Otherwise, wrong posture, when it is repeated again and again, it will only invite injuries and you will not get the benefits out of it. And at the same time, in Bhujangasana, there is eccentric contraction also. Eccentric Eccentric contraction is when the muscle lengthens, but at the same time the pressure is there on the muscle. That is eccentric contraction. So which muscles are eccentrically contracted here? The psoas minor and abdominal muscles. The abdominal muscles, just think of abdominal muscles, you all know, the six packs, the abdominal muscles. And these muscles, you are arching back, these muscles are stretched. These muscles are stretched, but again, when they are stretched, they are contracted. The eccentric contraction is there. Why? Why it is contracted? So that over mobilization of lumbar spine can be avoided. Lumbar spine is the lower spine part. So if there is over mobilization, if there is hyperextension, then that may cause injury in your spine. So for that, to prevent that, you have to contract your abdominal muscles too. So when we do Bhujangasana, when a layman do Bhujangasana, what he does, with the help of his hands, he just move backward. He is not concerned about contracting his hip muscles, about keeping his legs together in the adduction form, or contracting his abdominal muscles in the eccentric form. He is not concerned about it. So, and that may lead to do the asana in the wrong way and not to gain the maximum benefit out of the asana.
Yes.
So I will stop here because I don't want to take much time because Dr. Anita Madam is also there. So thank you very much and for giving the opportunity. I hope I have made myself clear. The slide actually didn't work. Slide was working for me, but then it was not showing up. So we will rectify that. Okay. So thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Okay, Sinjal sir. Well, thank you very much. So don't worry, all the participants who are going to join our integral yoga therapy and sir is dealing the classes, then definitely the PPT will work. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
The muscles he talks about. You see, he talked about a very important things. There are some contractions, some extensions, etc. Okay, and stretching, and that should happens very systematically. Otherwise, you are doing wrong. So when you apply the principles of biomechanics and kinesiology is the movement of the muscles, he talked about it, then you will be able to, you can do correctly and you can teach correctly to others. Then there will be no confusions. When you know the principle of biomechanics and kinesiology, then there will be no confusions. And if you do not know this, then maybe confusion after confusions. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So I invite Dr. Sandeep Purushothaman, sir. Please, Purushothaman, sir. Sandeep, sir.
Okay.
Oh, sir, please come to the screen, sir. And he is an Ayurvedic physician and we will talk about the integral nutrition in the Ayurveda and this applied principles of Ayurveda, etc. Please, sir.
Okay, coming. Okay, good evening to all. And thank you, Padmanabhan, sir, for giving this opportunity among colossus of yoga. So is it audible, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm basically an Ayurvedic doctor from Kottakkal, and I came to yoga by chance. In fact, I have had a near fatal accident, and it was complicated by developing tetanus, adult tetanus, which is like say 80% to 90% fatal. So I was the fortunate 20% who survived. But after surviving the tetanus, I was able to recover fully by virtue of yoga only, because I came to yoga just to do something for myself. So I have a belief that, okay, if it can cure myself, definitely I can cure others. So that's how I came to this. So we are doing here, along with Padmanabhan sir, we were colleagues at the Greens Ayurveda in Mahe. So we were doing clinical yoga. And mostly we were teaching Europeans. So one question they used to ask us that whether the benefits of physical benefits mostly, of course the mental also, whether these are written in our classical text. So that was one thing which we cannot explain only through yogic books. But actually the help comes from, or we can explain it better if you know the basic principles of Ayurveda also. So basically, Ayurveda is also has a philosophical beginning. So herbs are everywhere in the world, whether it is in Indonesian forest, whether in the Amazonia, in Mexico, African countries, everywhere there was some know-how about the herbs. But what makes Indian system or Ayurveda unique is that we know before the concept of the Sankhya philosophy, we were able to encompass the properties of medicines or herbs into yoga philosophy. These two philosophies, yoga and Sankhya philosophies, go hand in hand in certain aspects. And if you can correlate between these two, you can explain what we call the present day clinical yoga better. So among that, or everybody might have heard about Panchabhutas and Tridoshas. Actually, everything comes from philosophy. And if we try to relate doshas in Ayurveda to yoga also, mainly the Vata properties. Why everybody knows what Vata is. So, but among the common man, there is a concept that Vata is a disease, or Pitta is a disease, or Kapha are diseases. But on the other hand, in simple terms, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha are the physiology of Ayurveda. So, Vata is nothing but something in movement. In physiological terms, we can say that it is the nervous system and the coordination between the nervous system and the muscular system, and even our cognition, these things. The second part, the Pitta. Pitta basically comes from fire. So fire doesn't mean that boil only. The word meaning of Pitta in Malayalam is boil, but it has a wider meaning, like that it includes all the metabolic activities, including the enzymatic activities and the hormonal activities taking place in our body. Even the physiology of vision can be explained by the Pitta. And coming to the Kapha, Kapha is all the anabolic or nutritional properties of a human being. So these are the basics of Ayurveda according to the physiology of yoga, Ayurveda. So now coming to the disease part, most of I will cite one example related with the Apana. Apana is one among the Vadas. You might know it. Apana is the Vada that is responsible for our excretory processes, reproductive processes, and it is particularly important for women because it explains everything, including conceiving, carrying the baby, as well as delivering the baby. So in our present day, what we find that many of the diseases, job-related diseases, they come to us saying that they have a urinary tract infection, gynecological related diseases, then also simple constipation leading to piles and other anorectal diseases. But we are able to rectify this by concentrating on what we call the Apana. When we make the channels or the channels of Apana free of movement, we are able to rectify this. So in such cases, we describe or we will prescribe asanas which will stimulate the lower part of the body where the activities of Apana is maximum. So this is how we try to deal with the diseases. And I'm sorry that I've been given only a short notice, so I don't have any slides. I would have been able to do it in a better way if I have time. So hopefully I'll come up with a better skill, slides and all, because I am talking from the mobile phone now. So next time I'll go into details with slides and all. So hope then we'll be able to do in a better way. Before concluding, I would say that in Ayurveda, they treat with three principles like Aushadha, Ahara, and Vihara. So removing the Aushadas, the other two, Vihara and Ahara, they go hand in hand with the yoga also. And lastly, but not the least, sometimes there is a divergence between there are clashes of ideas between yoga and Ayurveda. So they diverge, totally diverge. One example is that in Ayurveda, there is a branch called Vajikarana, where sexual activities are the main thing. I mean, it is the science or it is the branch of Ayurveda that helps to increase the libido of a person or reproductive aspect. So in certain areas, they are diverging as well. The same with the, some medicines like Aristas, which contain alcohol, and narcotics are also a part of Ayurveda. So sometimes I feel drawn between these two, with which one is the right one, whether Ayurvedic or the yoga. But having said that, in other countries, especially in European countries, even Ayurveda is flying on the wings of yoga. So once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Hopefully, we will meet again with a longer version or longer classes. Thank you, sir, and thank you all the colleagues who are for the informative classes. I am also hearing it keenly. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sandeep Purushothaman, sir. Thank you very much for your informative and meaningful talk within a short span of time. So anyhow, we have a module, applied yoga, applied Ayurveda, in which we'll send the module to you, sir. So then you can prepare your slides and teach them. And as you said in the last thing, because there is a controversy among these two, and that is why we have used the word integral. Okay, the integral approach. So we have just received a message from Dr. Anita Mohan, and she is traveling. So this internet is not so good. So anyhow, in the sessions we will start from 14th January onwards. She will teach you the modern nutrition, the concepts and the calorie, etc., so that you can make a diet chart, integral diet chart, Midaharam. As I used to say many times, that Midaharam vinayastu yogarambam tu karaye nana rogo bhavetasya kimchit yogo nasiddhyati. The food is the first life process. So Ayurveda comes there, yoga comes there, and modern nutrition comes there. And both these three, and what is the integral approach? The word Mitahara has very much importance. Balanced diet. So we will be talking about all these things. So interaction, we are going to conclude this session. And before that, any significant question anybody wants to ask, please ask. It should be very significant and informative and meaningful to all. Because there was a starting problem, so there's a webinar started little late. So now the time is going to be 9:30. This is the only problem with the internet, because the internet is not in our hands. Sometimes it slips away. So any significant question? So all the chapters will cover, whatever the modules we have shown in the brochure. I will talk each and everyone one by one. Okay, you will get the complete information about it, whether it is an asana or a pranayama. Okay, and we will teach you. I will teach you the Shiva Sarodaya, the tantric test, from which you will get many ideas. Even you can put some of the concept as a research studies. Okay, so that is why I told you that it is an academic. Actually, it is an educational series. So anybody has any doubt? And some of them are the YouTube also. So it doesn't matter. And whosoever present in this, anybody?
Waiting for classes, sir.
Classes will start soon. 14th only will start.
Okay.
So next day the practical will be there. So any doubt regarding this one, about any concepts, whether it is Ayurveda, or you can ask us, and we will give all the numbers of the respective faculties. Okay, all are very eminent personalities. Yes. So we hope that Prajit, anything you have to say? Harika Reddy is okay.
Yes, sir. Perfect, sir.
Okay. This Yoga Alliance certificate, the certification, you will definitely get a certification. Don't worry. And probably the 200 RYT. Yeah. So we'll manage it and we will issue you. For that, you have to pay a small amount. Was that so? For registration, you have to pay that. So in some of the countries, in UK and USA, they are asking it. Only some of the universities. And other countries, they ask an academic degrees. Okay. And here this one in our Ayush, they are conducting many, this one yoga teachers level 1, level 2, level 3. I don't know why they are conducting all these courses. I don't know. Okay, when a person has a high good academic degree from a university, I don't know why they are conducting this. But the Yoga Alliance is not like that, because it is an international yoga teachers association. So they have some grip upon that. He says Sandeep Purushothaman sir, he knows about it. Yoga Alliance. And some of the country ask the certificate, I think. Is it? And our Sandeep Purushothaman sir, he is a very good yoga therapist. He has been in Russia for many years. Okay, I think that just he came in India.
Okay, due to war, I had to return back. So I was more into agriculture so when you called me.
Okay. So I'm talking about you.
Okay.
You had been in Russia many
it's
times.
like when you take the whole world, Russia has an Eastern alliance. I mean, they have an Asian culture also. So in southern Russia and all, the herbs are also grown. So that's the reason we go there. And the pharmaceutical lobby, the Western pharmaceutical lobby is not that powerful. So that anything Ayurveda, anything herbal is settled. So they recognize, I mean, semi-recognize. I have to work under another culture. So Chinese medicine and Indian medicine are accepted there. And of course, yoga is more popular, much popular. Even during the communist.
With the permission of.
Pardon?
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So with the permission of all the great participants who participate and listen to this webinar carefully, and from the faculties, our resource persons. So we are going to conclude this program today. So I cordially invite our coordinator, Vidya P. Nair, to deliver her vote of thanks address.
On behalf of Yoga Enlightens, I express my deep gratitude to Dr. Padmanabhan Sir for the decision taken to reach the theoretical and practical concepts of integral yoga therapy to the public across the world. Dr. Agustin George, Head of the Department of Physical Education, Government Medical College, Kottayam, Kerala, India, for teaching us the correct positioning of the body and movement of the muscles for doing asanas with the principles of biomechanics and kinesiology. We are all very much impressed with the scientific speech of Dr. Anitha Mohan, clinical nutritionist and diet consultant and former state nutrition officer of Health Department, Government of Kerala, on therapeutic nutrition to keep our body healthy. We express our sincere gratitude for her meaningful and informative talk on nutrition. Above all, we are sincerely grateful to the participants who joined and listened the webinar. I also express my gratitude to Krishna once for delivering the welcome speech. Once again, Yoga Enlightens extends our gratitude to all the participants. Thank you.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः